I've got life's tough questions for you.
Hey listeners, I'm the Straya Guy, and this is Life's Tough Questions. And yes, this is me, in my house here in Australia. Now, as promised today, I'm going to be kind of looking at a bit of history on how kind of life's tough questions came to be, and a little bit of information on myself too. I'll try not to waffle too much just about myself, and I'll try to keep it relevant so it shows about how I guess progressed to the point of where I put life's tough questions is now. Now, I'm sorry that it's just in my house. I actually had planned to go out and do some cool filming in that outdoors and give you some cool shots of my hometown, but actually my health is a bit bad at the moment. So, I'm just gonna make do with what I've got here in my house. I'll try to fill the screen with some interesting things though, so you don't just have to look at my dopey face while I'm talking. So let's get to it. We'll start off with my childhood. So I was always a noisy kid. I was a noisy kid who loved attention. I grew up in a household where they had a video camera and things were filmed, and there's a lot of things I can look back on to see, like, how I was as a kid. But I was always intrigued to be in front of the camera, making noise, seeing myself on things, yelling.
Bomb the castle!
I was also one of those annoying kids as well that would just keep on saying like, "Mummy, mummy, mummy," like over and over or asking the same thing over and over and over until I got an answer.
Mom, mommy, mommy.
So from a young age, I suppose I was very intrigued to get answers to questions or find out about things. I guess I was very curious about certain things. So yeah, as a young child, I guess that was the beginning of my interest towards both media and asking questions, I guess. Now, as I went on into my primary years, I really got into things like fantasy and sci-fi, general fiction. I started to play things like RPG games, and I started to watch movies or read books about things that were kind of like impossible or didn't exist. And it started to make me kind of think about these things as, like, dreams, or as, could they be a reality? Is it possible for humans to have tails? Like, it started to make me, I guess, curious and question things and question whether or not that is really like reality of what we know what it is. Is that all? Or is there more? Is there more out there? As I grew up reading kind of these like fiction novels and stuff like that, and just general like sci-fi or some like kids' young adult books, a really big influence was actually a book by Andy Griffith. It was called Just Annoying. And he did a bunch of books. I can't remember who the guy, someone did the art for it, but some great art in there too. But anyway, this book in particular, Just Annoying, it had a chapter in it, or a story, they were usually short stories, called Would You Rather. And it was about would you rather, like he's sitting there with his dad, and he was asking his dad, like, "Dad, would you rather be eaten by ants or by lions?" And it sparks up a whole conversation and debate, and really focuses on the actual character pushing people beyond their answer. Because sometimes people just give an answer, but the book really kind of pushed that, but why would you pick that answer? Surely if you pick that answer, this would happen. And then people go, okay, fine, I'd pick the other one. It's like, oh, but if you pick the other one, then this would happen. So I think the whole idea behind debate really started to appeal to me. Debate with hypothetical situations. So you had like this concept that in a hypothetical may never exist, or it may be possible, and then mix that with pushing people to their limits about would they do that? Would they not do that? Why would they do that? What if this variable was thrown in? And I think that was really, again, like appealing to me in the sense that it really pushed questions and pushed answers. You found out why people went the direction they went. And I think that's what got me really curious about things like that. As I went into high school with all this kind of like sci-fi and fiction and all this, I guess I was a bit of a nerd and a bit of a computer geek there as well. So I started creating different kind of forums, different boards. I believe maybe my first one might have been through InVision at the time, and I started using different forums to create online groups and that, asking life's tough questions. I began starting up groups like with just friends and that, and then other people would join, and it let me have a platform to essentially host these kind of debates and questions and things like that. And I guess that kind of flowed as social media became bigger and bigger into things like MySpace and then into Facebook eventually. And I made the Facebook group that, that was really early days of Facebook. And I mean, it started with just a couple of friends on there, and then that grew into more people and their friends, and when someone shared something, more people joined. And I guess I started to look into other kind of like options as far as media went. I got myself a camera, and then I thought, you know what, let's try some debate. Let's do some conversation. So I started to make the first panel of Life's Tough Questions, where I had a couple of friends. We'd sit there and we'd discuss some of the answers that people had given. And yeah, this was kind of very amateur at first, we didn't really know what we were doing in that, but it was a lot of fun because we had different personalities and different personas that we'd put across. And I guess that then developed into, I made an animated series. The animated series was a lot of fun. I do a little bit of drawing, not that much, but a little bit of drawing where I'd take people's ideas and then I'd sketch it into something interesting and then kind of discuss it just myself. And that way I'd kind of be presenting a show, talking about my opinion, but then showing other people's opinions in this graphic animation, which I guess that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing it, but it was, how to put it, it was just so time consuming. It was so time consuming to have to draw so much and animate so much and do that. Like I said, I'm not a professional, I'm not great at it, so it did take time. Now, with that in mind, I kind of then decided, all right, where am I going to go from here? I tried the panel thing, I tried the drawing thing, I did another little one there, and I then started to make other media. I traveled abroad and I did different things where I developed this persona, Straya Guy. I had the headband going, I had the whole kind of I guess the way I present myself and the cheerfulness and the go at it attitude, give everything a try. I developed the persona of Straya Guy. And I guess one day I decided, you know what? I like this persona. I like the concept of how it's going. I like the positive side of it. And I thought, hey, let's see if we can give our Life's Tough Questions another go, but let's put on the persona. And I thought to myself, okay, is it just going to be me sitting there in front of a camera talking? At least with a panel, you had more people. It was a bit more interesting. And I thought, all right, well, let's use my digital persona. Let's use the drawing persona of myself. And that way I can present it and it doesn't have all the weirdness. I have my hands. I do a lot of talking with my hands. So it stops this whole, what do I do with my hands type thing happening by just having a picture of myself and come up with images and that on the screen. Now, I guess when I started to do this, some of my biggest influences probably would have been kind of like my influence to get into media and all that. Back in the day was probably Ray Williams Johnson, RRWJ, like equals Straya Guy. He just, the way that he took the concept of like presenting what already existed out there and then presenting it as material. Like there was a lot of like, as internet media was young, there was a lot of like, oh, look at this new and exciting stuff being put on the internet. But he was kind of the first person, well, to me, that really started taking material that other people had submitted and then using that to then critique or show or boost his own ratings. So I guess, like, is it the fact that he did it first? Like that jealousy side of things? Or did I actually like what he did? I don't know, it's a bit of a combo, but I have to put that he was a big influence in me wanting to get into that side of media. And then I guess, with that in mind, like other people, like for Australian wise, bearing, like, if you're into kind of like politics or kind of like the PC culture type thing, he takes a stab at things, but he does it from, again, behind a persona where you have a image of a bear. Like, he exists as a bear, not as this Australian guy from Melbourne, I believe he is, sitting behind a microphone. He exists as a bear in a chair, the same way that I like to exist as a more attractive looking, probably manga version of myself holding a couple noodles. Like, that's not what I am now, but, I guess it's kind of like presenting from behind a persona in that way, which I guess comes to the biggest influence of all. And again, is it from a jealousy side of things that this guy had the idea? Or do I genuinely think he's a great guy? And that is r/. Now, essentially, the concept of having a channel where you're just talking, but it's not just you're talking. As I mentioned with Ray Williams, he's using content that other people have submitted and then presenting his opinion on it. But it's not even just his opinion. Half of the video is presenting other people's content. The other half is then his opinion. So in reality, is it lazy? Is he only doing 50% of the work? I just think the fact that he got onto it and he started doing it is just such a great idea. Like, yes, I'm jealous that he did it first. So I guess that influence behind when I was trying to find how was I going to do Life's Tough Questions. I've done the panel, done this animated version, I've done other media things. And then I thought, it's always been about presenting your answers. It's always been about me trying to find out like your kind of limit, or if I pushed you one way or the other in debate. So much in the same way, I thought, well, no, it's got to include your content. It's got to include your answers. So I guess this way I get to present things. I get to put in a lot less effort editing wise, like for visuals, like I said. Like, you don't want to just see this dopey face and the hands moving the whole time. So it makes it a bit easier just to have that still shot and then piece together what I thought was great from your answers, or what sometimes it's a funny answer, sometimes it's a really clever answer, sometimes it's something that made me change my answer. So I think that's kind of where I wanted to head with things. And yeah, in the future, like, I'd like to get bigger, I'd like to grow, and who knows, like we might go back to sitting on a panel again and discussing things, or, maybe I might even get back to animating things again. We'll see what happens. But I definitely want to see this expand. I want to see it grow. And as I said, I want to share your guys' opinion, your guys' answers. What drives this thing is you guys. So definitely I want to see it grow and grow as that happens. So I suppose with that in mind, I might as well make sure that we answer last week's question, because I can't just give you just a talking video. We better look at last week's question. We did promise to look at it. So, would you rather have to use rough paper towels in place of toilet paper for the rest of your life, or only be able to use towels that were like small hand towels for the rest of your life? And looking at the poll and looking how people had answered, most people have gone with the changing to the smaller size towels. Now, like, a good comment interesting here was by Libby, questioning whether or not, the pandemic had made a big change to people's, you realize the value of good quality toilet paper. Like, it makes you wonder, before the pandemic had hit, would people have been answering this differently? If people kind of started to realize now how much they need good quality toilet paper when they can only have the alternatives of buying these kind of cheap knock-up, maybe people had to suffer and use paper towels during the pandemic. I don't know. If you did, let us know below if you had to use paper towels during the pandemic and you made that realization that you need toilet paper backup storage reserve, or did you hoard it? If you were a hoarder, let us know below too. Let us know how many rolls you still have. And another really funny one that I thought was an interesting answer was on the Reddit page. And I don't know, when I was reading it, I was like, did this person quite understand the question? I'm gonna have to read it because it was funny when I read it. I was like, wait, did they quite understand what I meant by this? But their answer, this was by, let's see, Rosanelle. And they said, if I had to only use the hand towels, I probably would switch over to a bidet and use the hand towel after. They can get washed and reused, so that will end up having a lot of money in the end. Yeah, I don't know if I worded the question incorrectly, but it was implying the use of towels. So instead of having your shower towel and washing yourself off, you're gonna have a little hand towel to dry yourself off. It wasn't implying that you're replacing toilet paper with a small hand towel. But I like the fact that you answered the question. You looked at the options, you went, look, yeah, I can see how I can benefit from this. I can see how I can save money. So all in all, that was also a good answer. I guess that also brings to mind, if you were using the paper towels, you could always just use, a towel instead. The fact that you can't use toilet paper doesn't mean that you can use that kind of alternative. So yeah, sorry, I just found your answer really funny, just picturing wait, what? And then, yeah. Anyway, I'm happy. I'm happy with how this went. I myself am definitely one that I value a good toilet roll, especially during the pandemic. I hate the ones that break apart and become little fluffy pieces, and they leave this powder and that everywhere, that cheap stuff. It's got to be 3-ply. It's got to be really good. I'm a folder, not a scruncher. So that's a bit of information maybe you didn't need to have. But yeah, I think also the time that I spent in Asia as well, they actually don't use big beach towel-y sized towels in a lot of places I went. They're actually much smaller, but they were really good at drying. So I guess a good quality small towel, you don't actually need that big a towel to dry your whole body. And being a male, I don't have a whole lot of hair, so I don't need a hair wrap towel. I don't need something that wraps over my chest, and I just need something to dry off and, then cover myself as I do a quick dash to wherever I've left my clothes. But yeah, what about you guys? How did you feel about this question? Have you ever used small towels? Have you used the paper towels? What happened during the pandemic for you? Let us know in the comments below. Which, before I disappear on you guys and leave you for another week, I guess I better ask a question for next week. I better come up with something. Put on the spot, hey? I guess, what can I give you guys? Something, wish I had come up with something earlier, but...
6.5 hours later.
Okay, I got it, right? So, this is, we'll put it a 1 month on this. So it's happening for 1 month. Would you rather magically, so this is magically, it's not you get some accident, right? Magically, for 1 month, would you rather be blind, right, or have no hands? Now remember, this happens magically. So after 1 month, eyes back to normal, hands back to normal. But for 1 month, would you rather be blind or have no hands? And I guess this just comes on instantly, so it's not like you get months or time to prepare for this and think, okay, if I set it up this way, then I go, no. This has just been placed on you right smack bang now. Boom. You're either blind or you have no hands. Which one would you rather? Leave your comments in the comment section below here, or you can head on over to that Facebook group. We're going to have obviously the poll that's sitting on there. Please remember to comment, because as I've mentioned most of this video, your guys' comments is what drives this. Your guys' comments is what gives me the attitude and the funness to create these videos and find the debate and find the reasons for more questions. And you know, if the reason behind it is that you're a little bit nervous about putting yourself out there, then that's what the Reddit page is for. I mean, I'm assuming that these people, like, you know, these people's names, that's not what their usual name is. So, now if you want to be some kind of ridiculous name, or you just want a different persona, like myself, Straya Guy, head on over to Reddit. It's at r/lifestuffquestions, and leave your comments and answers over there. Now, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Keep on asking those life's tough questions, and I'll catch you guys next time. I'm the Straya Guy, and I don't have a clever sign-off.
Would you rather stay inside for all your life, or fly around the air 100 miles as a knife? I wonder what it is that you would do. That's why I've got life's tough questions for you.